Okay, we're going to read from what's called a book. This is page 242. I'm trying to finish this book. This is for YouTube. These are 1-minute clips. In magic, to have said, the word begins with letters. It ends with X. One does not really will a thing unless one wills it with all one's heart, to the point of breaking for it one's dearest affections, and with all one's forces, to the point of risking one's health, one's fortune, and one's life. It is by absolute devotion that faith proves itself and constantly will be able to move mountains. The most fatal enemy of our souls is idleness. Inertia intoxicates us and sends us to sleep. But the sleep of inertia is corruption. The faculties of the human soul are like waves of the ocean. To keep them sweet, they need the salt and bitterness of tears. They need the whirlwinds of heaven. They need to be shaken by the storm. When instead of marching upon the path of progress, we wish to have ourselves carried, we are sleeping in the arms of death. It is to us that it is for us to carry death away. And terrible metaphor of St. John. Hell is a sleeping fire. It is a life without activity and without progress. It is sulfur in stagnation. Ignis et sulphuris. The sleeping life is like the idle word, and it is of that men will have to give an account in the day of judgment. Intelligence speaks, and matter stirs. It will not rest until it has taken the form given to it by the word. Behold the Christian word, how for these 19 centuries behold the Christian word for how for these 19 centuries it has. What battle of giants.
The numbers. Dude, you have no idea. Let me open your eyes a little bit. It's your final chance to listen to the reality of what's happening. Any guy ever willing to explain this to you ever in your life? So let's try to fuck up this revolution in Iran is by its people again.
What battle of giants errors set forth and rebutted? How much deceived and irritated lies at the bottom of Protestantism from the 16th century to the 18th century to the 18th. Human egotism in despair at its defeats has whipped up all its stupidity. They have reclothed the Savior of the world with every rag and with every mocking purple. After Jesus, the Inquisitor, they have invented the sans culotte Jesus. Measure if you can all the tears and all the blood that have flowed. Calculate audaciously all that will yet be shed before the arrival of the messianic reign of the man-god, who shall submit at once all passions to powers, and all powers. Thy kingdom come. For nigh 1900 years, over the whole surface of the earth, this has been the cry of 700 years, and the Israelites yet await the Messiah. He said that he would come, and come he will. He came to die, and he has promised to return to live. Heaven is the harmony of generous sentiments. Hell is the conflict of cowardly instincts. By dint of bloody and dolorous experience, has truly understood this of selfishness to enter into the heaven of devotion and of Christian charity. The lyre of Orpheus civilized savage Greece, and the lyre built Thebes the mysterious, because harmony is truth. The whole of nature is harmony, but the gospel is not a lyre. It is the book of the eternal principles which should and will regulate all the layers and all the living harmonies of the universe. While the world does not understand these three words, truth, reason, justice, and these, duty, society, the revolutionary motto, liberty, fraternity, will be nothing but a threefold lie. No middle course is possible. This is chapter 3, Mysterious Influence. No middle course is possible. Every man is either good or bad. The indifferent, the lukewarm are not good. They are consequently bad. And the worst of all the bad, for they are imbecile, cowardly, is like a civil war. Those who remain neutral betray both parties alike. Be numbered among the children of the fatherland. We, all of us, breathe in the life of others. We breathe upon them in some sort, a part of our own existence. Good and unto themselves, the doctors of humanity, foolish and wicked men are public poisoners. There are people in whose company one feels refreshed. Look at that young society woman. She chatters, she laughs, she dresses like everybody else. Why, then, is everything in her better and more perfect? Nothing is more natural than her manner, nothing franker and more nobly. Near her everything should be at its ease, except bad sentiment. Near her they are impossible. She does not seek hearts, but draws them to herself and lifts them up. She does not intoxicate, she enchants. She preaches a perfection more amiable than virtue itself. She is more gracious than grace. Her acts are easy and inimitable, like fine music and poetry. It is of her that a charming woman, too friendly to be her rival, said after a ball, "I thought I saw the Holy Bible frolicking." Now look upon the other side of the sheet. See this other woman. And would be scandalized if she heard the angels sing. But her talk is malevolent, her glance hot. When she speaks of virtue, she makes vice lovable. For her God is a jealous husband, and she makes a great merit of not deceiving him. Her maxims are desolating. Her actions due to vanity more than to charity. One might say, after having met her at church, I have seen the devil at prayer. Feels oneself full of love for all that is beautiful, good, and generous. One is happy to have well said to her all the noble things with which she has inspired you, and to have been approved by her. And of hope. The other leaves you weakened and baffled, or perhaps what is worse, full of evil designs. She makes you doubt of honor, piety, It was I who kicked you to the goo. They see him here. They see they conjure you tenderly to take great care of him. Perhaps he is consumptive. Has your wife been ill for a long time? Cheer up. She will die of it. Hope and work is the message you have to us by the voice of all good souls. Despair of a beast. There are in him the friends of the angel and the flatterers of the animal. The angel attracts us, but if we are not on our guard, it is the beast that carries us away. It will even drag us fatally with it when it in the language of beast is called real life. In religion, the gospel is a sure guide. It is not so in business. And there are a great many people who, if they had to settle the temporal succession of Jesus, oh, you know some of them already, I have no doubt. I have 7. Another dialogue. Give me 5 of hunger, and you want me to encourage you in so evil a course? You are dying of hunger, and you have the impudence to admit it? You wish to make me the accomplice of your incapacity? Premium on wretchedness. For whom do you take me? Do you think I am a rascal like yourself? And yet another. By the way, old fellow, bad, but I can never refuse anything to a friend. Here they are. When you've succeeded, you might give me her address. That is what is called in England and elsewhere the manners of a gentleman. Replied one day Cartouche to a passer-by who asked alms of him. It is as emphatic as the word which tradition And perhaps the famous thief and the great general both really replied in the same manner. It was that same cartouche who offered on another occasion of his own accord, and without it being asked of him, 20 to a bankrupt. One must act properly to one's brothers. Mutual assistance is a law of nature. The other leaves you weakened and baffled. The other leaves you weakened and baffled, or perhaps what is worse, full of evil duty and present. Presenting a one-year spending freeze across all city departments. We have to hold the line on costs while keeping services steady. To give residents some breathing room, homeowners will receive a 20%.
Tonight, I'm ordering an spending in every department. We're issuing a 20% refund on this year's property tax bills. Credits going out by December. We'll keep you updated. Tonight, I'm ordering an immediate freeze on discretionary spending in every department. We're issuing a 20% refund on this year's property tax bills. Credits going out by December. We'll keep you updated. Tonight, I'm ordering an immediate freeze on discretionary spending in
A spending freeze across all. Friday for a penny on the dollar. So, these Iranian reals are worthless. Battle of giants.
Oh my God.
How many errors set forth in the Bible? Digitally savvy. How much deceit? How much deceived and irritated Christianity lies. calculate audaciously all that will yet be shed before the arrival of the messianic reign of the man-god, who shall submit at once all thy kingdom come. For nigh 1900 years, over the whole surface of the earth, this has been the cry of 700 million throats. And the Israelites yet await the Messiah. He said that he would come, and come he will. He came to die, and he has promised to return to live. Instincts. When humanity, by dint of bloody and dolorous experience, has truly understood this double So you're welcome to talk about either or. Is there something you want to bring up?
Well, I just want to know why you have the name of Quran and time if you're not going to talk about it.
No, because we're trying to check people that want to talk about it. Are you that kind of person?
Talk about what, Quran?
Yeah.
No, I'm not in that level to talk about my music.
Holy shit. You're talking. Won't you come play with me? This is Megatron. Did that help explain the room to you, Leon? You're welcome. Battle of John.
men find out I'm a police officer, they suddenly act different. Like they have to be careful with every word. Does my job really make me that intimidating? Just trust me, you'll be fine. And when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. Rabbi, I have a question. I learned in the parsha 2 weeks ago this concept of holy. Just know if you post anything on here and it says Chicago, from Chicago, you're someplace in Chicago. Okay, like I'm talking. Okay, like I'm talking. This is true. They can't afford to live here, so we're seeing people. I spent 30 years with one. We're going on.
This is Megatron. This is your Midnight Magic. Hope you're enjoying. Plato's Cave only has 1,000 people in it. I'm surprised. But it's fun that I got to take it over tonight. We did a takeover of the room. Should have been more careful. Moderating Megatron. Never moderate Megatron. Don't you watch Transformers, stupid?
of the Lord of Initiation.
Talk about that.
Amen.
Have fun, happy.
Rejoice exceedingly, for your salvation is at hand.
Talk about that.
The end of sorrow is come. I will ravish you away into mine unutterable joy. I will kiss you and bring you to the bridal. I will spread a feast before you in the house of happiness. 6. I am not come. Your folly. 9. All ye do is right, if so be that ye enjoy it. 10. I am come against. In the name of the Lord of Initiation. Amen. 1. I fly and I light as
And that's the kind of stuff that literally you can imagine what it is on the big level. You know, when you're talking Disney.
Yeah, we are. I realized earlier today that we are already in syndication, and basically talking or using Clubhouse is redundant because on my
You know me, I'll go hard to the paint with all the words. I don't give a fuck.
I know, but the thing is, I have so much content that I can now live stream my own content because it's all in syndication. I'm literally live.
I ain't mad at you, bro.
50,000 hours. You click one button and you're good for days now. So
I wonder how many times you'll hear me in the mixes.
You're in there, but you're a small part compared to some power users here.
Dude, I always told all the girls I met that it's not impressive.
You actually say that? Syndication Clubhouse. And I got no views all day. And so it turns out people actually somehow can tell the difference that one is live. The new.
Well, wouldn't that would be considered authenticity?
Well, my point, well, when I...
If you're not the you that's you right here, right now, talking to me, I would know that it wasn't you, John. But, like, I watch a lot of your shit. Dude, I'm your number one fucking, like, thumbs up fan.
Well,
I'm always commenting. Dude.
Stream of Clubhouse syndication, but the truth is you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Is this live or not? Infinite restream, like we can't do it anymore. It's over.
I was literally starting to think that, like, you know me. We are at that tipping point where
there's no new actors, and they've already said the same script 1,000 times. So why would I keep recording? You see what I'm saying? It's over. The show's over. The show's over.
It makes sense.
It's over. Like the campaign is over. Clubhouse is like critical mass, and the fact is, like, the syndication sucks. I proved it today. I was like, nobody even wants to watch this. It's horrible. So I'm abandoning the entire project, and I'm just moving on to AI videos and AI. That's it. But Clubhouse is finished. This is over. Barth and Narges and Daniel and all the other Clubhouse fucking losers who sit on here all day long, it's over. Like there's no reason to record them anymore because I've already recorded them thousands of times, and there's so much of them, and nobody wants to watch it. So explain to me how it's going to be any different the 3,000th time around.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. Can you use AI? Can you use AI to go through all those videos?
No.
And pull out all those people and have AI discern?
Nope. no actual way to like. Well, I did read something today that they do have a way.
Oh, I was building underwater robots in the 90s. What the fuck?
Well, they're buying geographic data on everybody. Like I read the FBI is buying this type of data again. But that's why I say like this app it's more than that. Like the fact of the matter is like I recorded this as if I was recording like a sitcom 30,000 episodes in. So to like continue filming this show, it's over. It's over.
I'm not filming anything. I'm just trying to talk to my friend John.
I know, but my art project has reached the end of its lifespan. So
Do I need to pay you back for that phone?
I actually think about beautiful women that are gone more than the Lady Hawk. The Lady Hawk was honestly just
Like a Miami-esque, marina style,
well, I'm running for the mayor, so maybe I'll put that together.
Yeah, I
Like
saw
the commissioner.
that. You changed your name. You said mayor.
But at least I have a place in history as being the one guy in all of Illinois that challenged him. So it puts me in a new position that I was not in before, but still not the best position, but it's better to be in this position than no position.
Clarity and no rose-colored
Well, that's not the
You know what? I enjoy my life in vaccination.
I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know how
I mean, because it's what I fucking want. You know what? I can fucking afford it.
She was about 0.6.
So go fuck off. Like, when I look at the rest of the world, I feel like I need to tell people how to help themselves, because I don't think they understand. Like, they're all just walking around aimlessly.
See how she reacts. Like that?
Yeah, you forget like
I can do it. Look at that little belly.
When you have that North Pole in your life, John, like, you want to help people to understand how to navigate.
Jason, look, today your future home gets built. You look so sleepy. Starting off turf in the ground. After having like constant clothes for her. Ours love tunnels, so we put some of those in. I also put in this. Look at that little toy. This right here is Lola's home. I actually crawled into this, but it's massive and it's like a real home stucco walls, and that's her bed over there. And added some rock. Just gotta playing with these rocks and it's really tying itself together right here. And after months of building this enclosure, Lola's ready to visit. But one day she'll go home. All right, Lola, you ready? Let's go swim in your car for the very first time. Come on.
Yeah. What's she got AI doing?
I don't know if she likes the
reporter was standing there, and that rocket hit like
Yeah.
like 50 feet behind him.
That's crazy. I hope they were okay. The cameraman and the reporter.
Yeah, they said they were injured, but they were okay. I'm sure it was shrapnel.
Thank you, God.
Gosh, yeah, that was crazy.
Fact and vicious that afflict rather than console. For finding and choosing the most desperate banalities. Are you weeping for a broken defense? How many errors set forth and rebutted? How simple you are. They were playing with you. They did not love you. You admit sorrowfully that you have no to take great care of him. Perhaps he is consumptive. Has your wife been ill for a long time? Cheer up. And die. Hell cries to us in every word and movement, even on all the friendly acts and caresses of imperfect or degraded beings. Whatever the reputation of anyone may be, and whatever may be the testimonies of friendship that person may give you, if on leaving him you feel yourself less well disposed and weaker, he is. Our double magnetism produces in us to soul. We need to absorb and to radiate turn by turn. Our heart loves contrasts, and there are few women who have loved two men of genius in succession. Protection which one's own weariness and admiration gives. It is the law of equilibrium. But sometimes even sublime natures are surprised in caprices of vulgarity. Man, said the Abbé Guéret, is the shadow of a god in the body of a beast. There are in him the friends of the angel and the flatterers of the animal. Attracts us. But if we are, it is the beast that carries us away. It will even drag us fatally with it when it is a question of beastliness. It is to say of the satisfactions of that life, the nourisher of death, called real life. In religion, the gospel is a sure guide. It is not so in business. And there are a great many people who, if they had to settle the temporal succession of Jesus Christ, would more willingly come to an agreement with Judas Iscariot than with St. Peter. One admires probity, said Judas. If such a do not like beggars, and I only give to the poor who are ashamed to beg, said one day a man of wit.
But what do you give them since you do not know them? I give them my admiration and my esteem, and I have no need to know them to do that. How is it that you need so much money? They asked another. Why, poor folk, and I cannot prevent myself from giving them a great deal of money. Make me acquainted with them. Perhaps I will give them something too. Oh, you know some of them already. I have no doubt. I have 7 who cost me an enormous amount.
Strats, and they would they had one of those cattle prodders that are electric, and you electrify them over that.
Cattle prods, yeah.
Cattle prods. They tortured with cattle prods, and he never thought.
So one day before the American-Israeli strikes, and Pakistan considers it a counterterrorism operation.
That the Iranians only allege that roughly 1,000 and some people have gotten killed.
No,
so for what?
Like 50,000 people face. It's like 50,000. It's like 50,000 people face, not 1,000 people. That's what they're so upset.
So you're saying? It's not.
Wait. It's not 1,000 people in Iran. It's more like 50,000. That's why they're so upset.
Because it's hard to say, because it's hard to know how many.
He had a 3-hour meeting with President Trump, and 1 hour of the 3 hours, it was him just showing Iran is getting shot and killed by the Basij, IRGC. These are horrible people. These are the worst
I have
of the worst.
a question.
These are just scum people. I don't think people like Sarah understand. America is doing a rescue operation. There's not even a war. Rescued from a terrible regime and everything else like that. And they're doing a terrific job. And I think it's gonna work because you have people here, you saw the body bags present. Bibi took 1 hour. Bibi, wait. Bibi took 1 hour to show President Trump the dead bodies of the Iranians, and he was so disgusted. The They've got to go. These are
No,
sick people.
that's
These
not
are just the
wrong.
worst of the worst
Hold on,
people.
Sarah, hold on just a second. Back in January 13th, the AP posted his quote, or they published his quote. We're going anywhere. He's like, let's just do it. He is doing this. He literally said this is enough. 30-some thousand people dead is enough. Also, on top of it, one thing that people don't understand, the whole nuclear thing, 60%, that's 3 times the need for commercial, like for can be done within days to weeks, depending on how fast they want to do it. And that's where the immediacy came in. So people say, and Netanyahu said it tonight, there's 3 reasons we went in. He explained it. I'm sure he'll come out, just spout off things. And this is what everybody gets so worked up on. We can go in for 3 different reasons. We can go in for 30. The people, the left right now, are saying we're losing this war. So cool. We should have waited longer. So that way, they continue to keep making. What was it? How many was it? 1,000 a month, and we're making 6 or 7 missiles to shoot them down. Yeah, let's give them another year. Let's give them another 2 years for them to just really power up on their weapons. It's like this should have been done a decade, 2 decades ago. So the hold on, AJAC, the thing that they come at us with then is they said, well, he said they took out the nuclear. They still have some centrifuges.
So the 60% enrichment level is much higher than 3 times the commercial need. So
3 to 5
prior to them consistently, and that's within the realm of commercial use. Yeah, 3 to 5%.
Well, I just to clarify, I was never defending the Iranian regime. I think the regime's got to go. I was just explaining, because someone earlier was going, the Taliban and the United States are in cahoots, and it was like, no, I think they allowed articles, and I just don't agree with the assessment of the person who's like,
Alpha, he's not Iranian, but let him say we're all the same. We're the spread misinformation. People like Alpha going around and saying that, oh, I'm from Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan, they're all the same. That causes, let me finish. That causes a lot of issues. You know what I mean, Matt? Because if the people that are from a region can tell you what that region, what that country I want Matt to understand something. In a country that the woman that
that majority of its women have a higher education degree, you can never ever even imagine these two countries have anything similar in pop culture other than, okay, like maybe they have a couple foods that are similar. You know what I mean? Like it's the education alone makes a huge difference. You know, so the reason I say that is if you guys see like when I'm like, okay, it's one person or two people like they're trolling or they're just saying whatever, we'll listen to them. Versus if I see a gang of mobs, you know, like are dominating, hijacking the room, I personally think it's very important because social media is like it wasn't just a one-time thing, 1 minute thing. And I was shocked that an Iranian, somebody, I even believe he's Iranian. And I'm like, oh my God, we do have people who think like this. And then I learned that he's not even Iranian, he was not. So it does matter.
What culture was he, or what was his actual ethnicity?
He's from Iraq. The neighboring country, we share a border, Iran and Iraq. He's Iraqi cord, but it doesn't matter. He's from Iraq. And this is Iran. They're two different countries.
Aren't the Kurds
What do you say?
Aren't the Kurds the ones? Aren't the Kurds the ones that the United States were trying to kind of poke, kind of invade Iran?
No. To form a country, the Kurdistan country, with the Kurds in Iran, Syria, and Turkey. I don't know what's going on with Turkey and Syria, but what I do know is 99% of the Kurds in Iran, they don't want to have a country with the Iraqi Kurds. They say we're first Iranians, then we're Kurds. Does that make sense? But then we have these Iraqi Kurds, who majority of them, and let me tell you what is the whole story. They want to form a country with the Kurds of Iran, right? But then they want to be a federal system with Iran, and then they get oil money from us. That's what they want. That's the funny thing. Of Iran, right? They want to add together. They're going to be 38 million. 10 million is in Iran. So, but Iran population is 90 million. So they want to add 80% population to Iran, and then ask for Iran to give them like an oil money. No. First of all, our Kurds don't want that. So like, and it's funny because like today this guy was saying, oh, we should have first have a referendum to see what people of Kurd want. It's like, yes, I don't mind it. We don't mind it. We can have a referendum for the people of Kurd inside Iran. If they want, if majority of them want to separate, first of all, no country allows that, but I personally think in a real democracy, you shouldn't be forcing people. If they don't want to be part of Iran, they should be able to leave. And who want 20-30% who don't mind to have their own like state, but with them. We're not the same. Like it's funny, but the Iraqi Kurds, they want to say like Kurdistan is our country, so they want to like force and take part of the country. But what happened was Trump was not aware of this, and when there was the talk about possibility of Iraqi Kurds helping with the mission, because we are allies with them, the U.S. is allies with them. But them and Iran, they were like real enemies. So I guess Trump wasn't aware of that. And it's possible that that was a game, because when that rumor came out is when the Iran IRGC people had to come out of their
Is it wrong? Yeah, that was a rumor. Faith, where did you hear that, Faith? I'm just curious.
Where should it is?
Where did you get that, Faith?
I have to look at her. I looked through it. Resource. I look at tons of
Answer, please, Faith.
Let me
It was Al Jazeera.
Asia,
No, it was not Al Jazeera.
let us just answer.
Let me look it up.
It was even on CNN and Fox and everywhere. I think it was planned by our military.
I think it was Al Jazeera.
Just
Planned because
Just to add that, I have a lot of Kurdish friends. They saying that they are Iranian court, out court Iranian. So they put Iran first, all of them, almost all
I
of
know,
them.
but Alpha is not Iranian. He's a
I person didn't interpret it correctly because I know that the IRGC was sending missiles to the Iraqi Kurd area, but some were explaining that some of the Iranian Kurds were exiled and they left to Iraq. So I was under the understanding that there were some Iranian Kurds that are no longer there that went to Iraq, but I didn't recognize that they were completely different altogether. I thought that they were exiled ones that want to come back.
No, they are different groups in the one.
They're very different groups. For example, the Treaty of Sevres in 1920. You're not the only group of Kurds that didn't want to become a part of the Kurdish. So the Syrian Kurds said yes, the Iraqi Kurds said yes. That's why, because the Iranian Kurds, wait a second, Iranian Kurds were the only ones that said, no, we want to be Iranians. They said no. And she knew that. And she came here, she said that. Terrible. It's a horrible thing to say, people. So bad.
What's horrible to say what?
It's such a horrible thing to insinuate that Iranian Kurds want to become a part of a Kurdish state because they're the only ones to say no.
the Persia time, they were all under Persia. The entire Iraq was under Persia. It was like a huge country, not a country, like a imperator, whatever we call it. But this is like
Empire.
No, I'm talking about the Treaty of Sevres, because the only people that said no in the Kurdistan region to become I'm saying. So when people like Faith, they talk some rubbish, they don't even know what the hell they're talking about, because the Iranian Kurds, they said no. They said no, and they said no in 1920. They were like, no, we're going to come a part of Persia, we're going to come a part of Iran. They said no from the get-go. These people have always been loyal to the state of Iran. It doesn't matter who the hell is in charge. it doesn't matter if it's the Islamic Republic. These people said no. Iranian Kurds have always been loyal to Iran. So I don't understand what the hell is going on with that. It's terrible.
Abby, I slipped you a link that that it's just pretty scary findings to see for anybody to say there was an imminent threat after you read what that.
3 weeks, but for 9 to. So when you say 9 nuclear weapons, like I lack context. So that's enough to blow up Hiroshima. What kind of space?
I'll just give you what the findings say. I'll just read through it real quick. Iran can convert its current stockpile of 60% enriched uranium into 233 kilograms. Weeks at the Fordo fuel enrichment plant, enough for 9 nuclear weapons, taken as 25 kilogram a weapon for weapons grade WGU. Iran could produce its first quantity of 25 kilograms of WGU in Fordo in as little as 2 to 3 days, breaking out both Fordo and the nets. Enough for 15 nuclear weapons by the end of the second month.
Enough to.
Shut up, hey, checker, I'll move you down. 19 by the end of the third month, 21 by the end of the fourth month, and 22 by the end of the fifth
Shut up,
month.
I check. I'll move you down.
They can't keep that rate up forever, and they can't sustain it, but they could do it for several months, and then they could literally have themselves a hell of a lot of weapons. So this is from the IAEA, and it's a breakdown of their findings from the Institute of Science and International Security. So where the boat's over, right? They just started firing everywhere. And so what would happen if they felt like they were going to lose their regime? To them, it's kill the whole world before we give it all up, right? This is why you can't let someone like them have it, because they've got money. They got $8 billion from us, right? But they've got oil, and they've been selling oil to China. China will keep buying their oil. They could literally say, Iran, we'll give you, or to China, we'll give you.
Have our teeny little boats.
They might have some subs left, but their subs aren't anything compared to like ours. If they do fire, our subs are in the area. They would be on them in a heartbeat. I've heard they're in reading and studying, they do have a very quiet sub, but it doesn't have the capabilities of like the U.S. subs. So they're going to be hiding instead of trying to do anything because they know that our subs are in the area.
I I'm just trying to understand the logistics. Like, I'm not disagreeing with your findings here, but I'm just like, the logistics are a little harder to believe. You know what I mean? Logistics. I mean, we literally had to drop with Hiroshima. We had to go drop off a bomb. You're saying we don't have any submarines. They don't have any submarines to shoot these things.
They do have them.
You know,
they just might not.
How are they going to shoot like a nuclear that could get to anywhere? And they've said they're not interested in shooting the heartland. They're just interested.
Lovers, right? So
Okay.
That's enough to hold the U.S. in checkmate. They've already held most of most of Europe in checkmate because they were afraid of this indiscriminate bombings. These are without nuclear weapons. So the strategic play here is: do you let them keep building? What was it? 1,000? Somebody else could you tell me the number? Was it 1,000 a month that they were building these missiles? And our missiles that shoot them down, we were building 6 to 7 a month. So how long do you let them outpace you?
Their ability to build the delivery system. So what they
Interrupt you. Don't want to have my hand ripped off.
Equipment is not my expertise. So, like, how would the logistics work then? So, theoretically, they would do X, Y, Z, and they would shoot it here. Like, what are the points of highest contention? Because I think right now we're pissing off China. When I was in South Korea, I remember they had the THAAD system there. They recently took it down because in the Middle East that we flew down.
How many? Like 6?
Yeah, they basically came out and said, and I guess. All this soon after, China's storming down like 7 warplanes or something like that around Taiwan and just looking really aggressive in that area. So now.
Okay, here's the thing that they literally, I just literally listened to a former military strategist talk about this. Did you know that they actually, when this all started, China literally stopped all flights for 10 days. There was no more aggression towards Taiwan. Done. A lot of time to get all of our ships over there. Our ships are a hell of a lot closer right now. China knows this, right? So they're not going to do it. But then now they just started up again. Defend Iran, and we pretty much destroyed things now. They're not a slouch. They've got tough terrain. The terrain is because you want to take the fight to them before they could cause. China had a missile that was shot went around the world, and we didn't know about it until we did. And America came out and said, "Well, it missed its target by 12 miles." How do you know that? You know, you flew around the world and missed by 12 miles. You hit it in the middle of the United States. You're hitting something, right? So, I mean, you're very limited on. Is a year ago.
It's a matter of now they're nuclear powered, and if they can basically bully you now, and they're in bed with China. So they control Strait of Hormuz. Right? The Strait of Hormuz is two parts: north side, south side. Right? South side is Oman and UAE territory, but the north side is the important part of the Strait of Hormuz, and is Iran territory. So what goes through a Strait of Hormuz every day? Amount of energy that goes 20% of the world's oil go through it, and they're in bed with the country. Power and do that. So now they have an ally who's a nuclear power, and the U.S. cannot bully them or you. Have access to Caspian Sea. That's the difference.
One other thing that's also different, they don't have proxies. So the idea of them nuked up and your country like Israel having to deal with Hamas and Hezbollah and these proxies, and their leverage all of a sudden changes in that war, in that fight, going at those proxies, because now those proxies are
They could bring a weapon across. For God's sakes, the cartels use subs and bring drugs to the freaking mainland that way. You don't think they could get a weapon over? Hell yeah. And guess what? Doesn't have to be a big one. It can be a bunch of small ones, and we've got a serious problem. So when we allow them to get to that area, like she's saying, those proxies, North Korea does not have that. These crazy people do. People doesn't got to kill to be a weapon of mass destruction. There's chemical weapons they weren't supposed to have, but did the UN say we're in it? We're going all in with you? Nope, nope. America had to do it. We knew they had Scud missiles with chemical warheads, and they were supposed to, right? But we let that just go too long too. But the weapon of mass destruction wasn't even the Scuds. The weapon of mass destruction was Saddam Hussein. Sometimes it's the leader.
The thought that that system that was stationed at it basically came out of South, against South Korea's sweat drops because we're kind of vulnerable in that area, and then all of a sudden it's through that China's coming down like 7 warplanes or something like that, or on Taiwan, and just it might make a move on time.
The country at the borders, if that makes sense.
The Taliban is a Sunni Islamist group. It's not going to be the same. That's not the Shia, right? So it's a totally different fact. So that's the difference with why Afghanistan isn't necessarily going to come in and even get involved.
No country is going to come in from the borders, though. We're not. Right. IOGC is not friend with anyone. They're not friend with any countries. Look, they're bombing all the countries. They have proxies, so they have terrorist groups in some of these.
Yeah, like countries. Hezbollah.
Yeah, and they have I don't know their names. They have a terrorist group that they work with in Pakistan. They have a terrorist group in Iraq. They have their proxies, not the countries. No country likes IRGC. They're not friends with Turkey. They're not friends with anyone.
Okay, so
they're not friends up front behind.
from a corrupt Iran. Turkey.
They're not friends enough to help
I understand that, but I understand that. But all of them benefit from a fucked up Iran because
U.S. benefits from a fucked up Iran and has been benefiting for 47 years.
No, it's not like that the way you think it is. But okay.
No, we have benefited them. I don't want to go into it, but we have been benefiting.
So just understanding, so in what is your ideal scenario as far as like what the U.S. does? Because I know I listened to I don't know if you guys listened to Tulsi Gabbard when she
when your mic is open, everybody's voice.
So with Tulsi Gabbard, she mentioned that missile and the Israeli strikes are mostly focusing on the regime, and their goals are separate from one another. And that's what she said in the intelligence briefing, which I'm happy to share that if you guys want to see the.
No, she's correct. So what's happening right now, so I am actually following the IDF in Farsi and English in Telegram, and they actually post they're very organized and they're very transparent about what they target, where they target. Sometimes they announce beforehand, sometimes they announce afterhand, but Israel is very, very in explaining what they're doing. So, yes, that is correct. Remember I told you we have a branch of military that's job is to protect the IRGC, like the government, not Iran. So that's called Sepah. So they, like, buildings, they're gone. The Basiji buildings are gone. Like when I lived in Iran, Faith, I was probably arrested 50 times, maybe more. I've been detained like at least 30, 40 times. Every single police station. So these are not just a regular police station. These are the morality police stations, right? These are the ones that are for the regime, not the regular police station. But all of them are gone. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, it's not a conspiracy. They have hit 90 people's home. This is not carpet bombing. They're getting rid of their detention centers where they have guns, when they have cars, where they have their sleeping places, all that.
So I'm curious. So because the only thing that I'd be concerned